All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers? What the fuck buddies? What the fucking ears? What the fuck sticks? What's happening? I'm Marc Maron. This is my podcast, WTF. And welcome to it. If you're new here, thanks for coming. I can get you up to speed on stuff. I've been doing this over a decade. There's like 1,100. There's a lot of episodes. You can get a lot of the back catalog at Stitcher Premium. The most recent 50 are always available. The one I did with President Barack Obama is evergreen. That's from 2015. And, I talked to a lot of different kinds of people, all different kinds, full range of entertainment types and presidents. I've been going through a hard time myself. If you're just joining us for the first time, it's hard for me to focus on the world, which is horrible. With some glimmers of hope, but not enough for my liking. But I also have some personal issues that are happening as we speak. I don't want to go rehash all of that, but I'll probably jump in. But I don't want to be rude. How are you guys? You all right? Before I get lost in my ramblings, today on the show is Janelle Monáe. Yes. You never thought that would happen, did you? Did you assume that I would talk to Janelle Monáe? I didn't. She's a Grammy-nominated recording artist with best-selling albums. Arc-Android, The Electric Lady, and Dirty Computer. She's also in the movies Hidden Figures, Moonlight, and the upcoming thriller Antebellum. Also in the TV show Homecoming this season, which I watched. I've watched many of these things. I've listened to her music. But she'll be here, so that's exciting. What's happening? When was the last time I talked to you? What day is today? Monday? Yeah. Are you okay? I mean, are you hanging in? I know some people that are kind of coming unhinged. I'm sure that many of you know people that are coming unhinged. It's been a long time. A lot of people without work for a long time. A lot of insecurity, instability. Nowhere to really look to get that sort of reassurance that things are going to be okay. With the fucking world, with the country, with civilization. Is civilization going to make it? Or are we going to just digress into some barbaric shit show? I don't fucking know. All I know is that I don't know if even if you want to leave this country, you're going to be able to, because now we're the fucking dummies. Now, somehow or another, inside 3.5 years or so, this president has brought this country so low that other countries think we're fucking dangerous dummies. I'm sure they always thought we were dangerous, but now we're probably not even going to be able to travel because the biggest country with supposedly the most resources and the greatest scientists and whatnot, the great America, is now a viral shit show that people aren't going to want Americans in their countries. Because we have no national leadership or protocol on the front of the biggest pandemic probably ever, right? Look, I don't want to bum you out, but wear your fucking mask. Listen to scientists. Don't listen to meatheads. Don't listen to personal trainers. Don't listen to your neighbor. I know everybody feels inconvenience. It's amazing that American fortitude, Americans' ability to sacrifice. 3 months in and people are just like, fuck it. Now, either you don't care about yourself or you don't care about other people, or you just think that it's only hitting old people and you don't care about old people. You think it's only killing black people and you don't care about black people, or you think it's not going to hit you because you eat clean, right? How is it going to get you? You eat clean, right? You're taking your supplements. You eat clean. It's not going to get you. You don't fucking know what's going on with your genetics or why anybody. Yeah, there are some things that seem to make it more dangerous to some people than others. But, Mr. Clean Guy, Mr. Fuck the world, save yourself guy, Mr. Herd immunity dude, Mr. Just fucking fuck it, man. Fuck, come get me, man. Come get me. Corona. You. Put on your fucking mask. I mean, let's not mistake who the real weak people are. The people that are so put off and so sort of uncomfortable with being told what to do when it serves the interest of the community and themselves. They just don't like being told what to do because they're children. So now, instead of just crying about it and doing it anyways, the bully children will now bully the people that are taking care of themselves in the community. And that goes right up to the top, man. It goes right up to the top. So look, I am trying to deal with a lot of stuff. You know, I feel like some anger is coming back. I'm not sure where it's going. But I talked to you about Monkey, and I think I've figured out what I'm doing with Monkey. I'm probably, see, I can't even commit to it, but, you know, he's distressed. I believe he's pretty close to full renal failure, drinking a lot of water, still eating, but sort of half hiding, doesn't seem comfortable, not gaining weight. And, you know, how long do we have to wait for this? I mean, when his sister went down, it was like, you know, pretty clear she was howling and losing her mind. Monkey seems very spaced out, sometimes whimpering, still out and about, but not really taking the affection much. And I think I'm going to take him in tomorrow. I think I've made my peace with that. I think I'm going to take him to the vet. I know that some people recommend that, you know, you have somebody come to the house to put the cat down. I guess in my mind, I want to be in a little denial. I want to put him in the box, take him to the vet that I know, have the vet tell me it's time. I guess that's what I'm looking for, because I did that with LaFonda too. I don't know. I could have a strange vet come over, and we could do it at the house, and he could be comfortable in this house, and then I have to give him to them, and they take him away. And what then? What happened? I don't know. I think I want to go to the vet and be told that it's time. And then hopefully, like I thought I was going to have to do it over the weekend, but I think he's going to make it till tomorrow. I think my vet will let me be there to hold him when they do it. Now, the reason why I have some sort of weird right in this moment, I don't fucking know if it's going to last. But right in this moment, I have some sort of acceptance of it. Because I realize that, you know, this grieving process that's happening with my girlfriend, Lynn, who died on the 16th of May. And I didn't know she was dying. I knew she was sick, but I didn't know she was that sick. And that kind of haunts me. And I think that this process with Monkey, you know, sitting there with this cat and realizing how long I've been with him and knowing that, you know, compartmentalizing, trying to realize it's just separate from what happened. This doesn't mean the tragedies are stacking up on you, yet they are. This isn't a tragedy when a 16-year-old cat, you know, starts to have failing kidneys. It's not like, oh my God, that's crazy. No, it's what happens. But I don't know. I guess I just don't think about that shit. I don't think about a lot of things. You know, when I get into it, you know, when I got these cats, I didn't think like, this is going to suck on the back end here. But it does. But I sat with him and I cried a bit and I told him, you know, what was up and, you know, and I'm going to miss the cat. But on some level, I don't know if it's transference or it's just what it is. But I've had this whole process. I've been thinking Monkey's going to die for months. Maybe even a year. At least since his sister died. So I've kind of gotten myself around, you know, wrapped my brain around it. I've begun the grieving process. I have a certain amount of acceptance. I know it's not unusual. It's still fucking sad. But, you know, I spent as much time as fucking humanly possible because all I got is time right now. Even when Lynn was alive, I would get up in the morning and be like, is Monkey okay? Is Monkey okay? Well, now Monkey's not okay, but I think I'm finally ready. I think he's ready. And I think we'll enter this together and, you know, do it with a certain amount of acceptance. But I guess what I'm saying is that I've been able to have the experience of letting go with the animal and his sickness and his age, and it's appropriate. And I didn't get that with Lynn. But I do feel I feel happy to have been able to, be there for the fucking cat. And, aside from that, the other stuff, just, I get up, man. I don't know where you're at with how you feel about your life. Obviously I'm looking at mine through this grief portal, this window. But I've got enough. I get up, man. It's like I get up, sometimes I'll run through some suicidal ideations just to make myself comfortable. Then I'll get up. Sometimes I'll fucking, pray a little bit just because I want to humble myself and feel, connected to something. That's the biggest problem, really, is that when my heart kind of wants to reach out to something, there's just no, and when you don't have a God, there's no place for it to land. You're not going to look outside. I can sit on my porch and feel a certain amount of peace, but there's not a lot of hope anywhere. And I don't know where I find faith, but I find it in a present. I'm scared about a lot of things. I realize life is fragile. I realize that anything can happen. That's for fucking sure. But I get up. And I fucking make my bed, I exercise, I shower, I comb my hair, I put on pants, and I do a day. That's what I do. And now I'm alone doing it. So there's a nag, there's a void, there's a kind of like a humming pit that I try to step around, that I try not to fall into. I'm looking for some way to traverse it. But I think you just have to, I think I just have to realize, like, there's the humming pit. Do not fall into the humming pit. So I don't. I eat, I cook things, have some melon. Have some melon, will you? So, okay, so this is exciting for me because, like, sometimes when I do this show, I get opportunities to talk to people that I wouldn't think that I would talk to. And I knew who Janelle Monáe was, and I've been impressed with the very little I know of her, which is, specifically the movie work. And I recently watched Homecoming because I interviewed Chris Cooper, and she's on that too, and she's great. But then I saw her do the opening number at the Oscars, and I was blown away. I'm like, what the fuck is this amount of talent coming through one person? But I didn't know a lot about her. So then I got an opportunity to talk to her. Then I got to dig in. So, like, sometimes when I have a guest, I'm like, all right, let me try to wrap my brain around their work. So I'm listening to the records, the music, trying to get a little sense of where she comes from. And it's very exciting. She's an incredibly talented person, a gifted actor, musician, singer, composer, arranger, dancer. I mean, fuck, man. It was just, I was nervous. You can see her in the new season of Homecoming, which is on Amazon Prime Video. Her next film, Antebellum, is coming out August 21st. And this is me talking to Janelle Monáe. Certainly now is the time to talk.
Yeah, it's not a time to be silent.
Have you been going out into the world? Have you been doing any street activism, or mostly just talking from wherever you can, where you are?
Both, a combination of both.
What's it like out there on the streets? I've not been able to go out there.
Well, in addition to, dealing with police brutality, dealing with the murdering of my people at the hands of police, we've also been dealing with COVID-19.
Right.
Which disproportionately affects Black and brown people. And we have been feeding those who need food during this time. We're in the middle of a financial crisis. But being here in LA and watching the National Guard, like, riding down the street, and the day they came with these big tanks, like we were in Afghanistan, or, we were in some war zone. It just felt like an alternate universe. It was very scary. It was intimidating. And it just further proved to me that it's super important that we defund the police and put that money and that energy into our healthcare systems,
Yeah.
into our education systems, into bettering our communities.
Do you find it's and I'm like obviously a different person, but do you find hope? Do you have hope in general?
I have action.
Right.
Like action is my love language.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to take some real work and conversation had in the white community.
Yeah.
I think that until I see the level of conversations around chattel slavery, around mass incarceration, around systemic racism, and the systems that have negatively affected my people done by the ancestors of white people and how they're going to dismantle that, then I won't be hopeful. Until I see money put back into our communities around how we can rebuild our communities. When we tried to do it in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the police, the KKK, everyone burned it down. Until I see money put into our communities, I don't have hope.
All we have is action.
Action. That's my love language. If you want me to be hopeful, I need to see that level of action and participation. Yes, I need to see that level of action and participation.
Now, when you are you doing, I guess the question is because a lot of the stuff you've done previous in recording and also in acting, but mostly in the recording, it seems like, part of, you were creating a universe, a metaphor of, to sort of represent disenfranchisement, to represent race. But is that time over now? Do you find that you have time to be creative? Is there a way for you to be creative outside of just specific, activist action?
I'm focused on being a better citizen. Mm-hmm. And I think art can meet citizenship, is a part of humanity, can uplift, can inspire, can encourage, comfort during these times. But I think my energy is spent in creative ways of building with my community and how I can use the privilege that I have as an artist, as someone who, has conversations with corporations and conversations with those who are more privileged than even myself. How can I advocate for them in those spaces? How can I use that leverage, use my proximity to finances to feed my people? How can we get creative, in ways of organizing?
Yeah.
That's where I'm using my weight these days.
Sure.
I have been DJing on a personal level. I've been trying to DJ. I've been to stay sane, but I wish that my work wasn't as relevant as it is. I mean, I think work that I've done almost a decade ago from my previous albums, these are songs that I'm still performing. These are songs that still ring true to our times. And I wish that wasn't the case. I wish that we were not, in a space where we have to scream Black Lives Matter, that we have to be excited about, on a federal level, they're not gonna discriminate against in workspaces, the LGBTQIA plus communities. This just happened today.
I know that shouldn't be a victory. It should just be, what it is. Yeah, it should just be.
Why are we having those conversations? And so that has taken up a lot of my mental real estate right now, and trying to creatively figure out ways to get this administration and this current president out of office.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, this has to change. All of what's going on in the police force, what's going on the streets, the killing of Black people, it's all connected,
Sure, absolutely.
to those in the position of power right now.
Now, when you say, you look back at the work you did like a decade ago, in terms of those songs still being relevant, I mean, that was always the vision. I mean, you knew what was going on then. And you're sad that we haven't moved past that, but doesn't it make you at least satisfied on some level that those songs still are relevant and that they can still mean something to people?
Sure, if they can comfort, if they can be a reminder of how much work we need to do and how far we have not come,
Yeah.
then yes, then so be it.
And when you were starting out, when you were starting to put together your vision, I mean, who were the artists that most guided the way?
Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
for sure.
Uh-huh.
Prince, for sure.
And you got to work with him, right? A lot.
Yeah, yeah. I've worked with both of them in different ways. I
Oh
did.
yeah? What'd you do with Stevie?
I have performed on stage with him
Uh-huh.
quite a few times, and he was on my last album. He has an interlude called Stevie's Dream on Dirty Computer, and with Prince, Prince was on my second album, The Electric Lady, and both of them are mentors and just family.
When you think about mentors like that, I mean, what was it like? You grew up in Kansas City,
Yeah,
you?
Kansas City, Kansas.
And I can't even. I don't even know what Kansas is like.
Ooh, it's like a lot of things,
Uh huh.
I mean,
Do you ever go back? Do you have people there still?
I do. My grandmother had 12 kids, and
Oh,
she
see.
migrated from Aberdeen, Mississippi to Kansas City, Kansas, and my mom was the baby of those kids. And I have over 50. No, I have not over. I have exactly 50 first cousins. So
Oh
I
my
grew up with
God.
a very large family.
Yeah.
We still talk and we're close. And I go back like maybe once or twice a year
Yeah.
to visit. But yeah, it's not like the Wizard of Oz for sure.
No, I know
Uh,
that.
but yeah, there's a lot of things that are affecting Black people in that community, and I hope to continue to work with organizers there and foundations and organizations to help better Kansas.
Sure. When you
To
were like, so how many kids in your family?
How many siblings do I have?
Yeah.
I have two. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have two sisters.
Younger, older?
I'm the oldest.
Do they work with you?
No, they have completely different lives.
Oh, that's
Like
probably nice.
very yeah, but community oriented. I come from, my parents were essential workers, and we all come from that. So they're working on the community and advocating for our communities in different ways.
Yeah. And how did you get started in, finding your sort of talents? I mean, when you were a kid, I mean, how did it start for you that you knew you wanted to sing or present yourself that way?
Kids know they may not be able to articulate it
Yeah.
because our vocabulary is constantly developing. But kids know who they are, who they're attracted to,
Yeah.
what they want to do very early on. And I think what keeps that dream or that purpose alive is the people around you. They
Sure.
can either discourage you or they can inspire you. They can be the wind under your wings.
Yeah.
And I fortunately was born into a family that really was the wind underneath my wings. They made me feel like I could do anything when it came to music, when it came to acting. They were at every talent showcase. They were in the living rooms, egging me on when I wanted to sing a song or had a song in my heart. Like when I was busting out singing songs in church
Yeah.
and getting escorted to the children's church.
Yeah.
I didn't get whooped. They laughed with me about it,
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of who I am, I owe to my family.
There just seems to be something like you mix a lot of different styles, and it's kind of amazing, the theatrics of it, but psychedelic, funk, soul, and then there's sort of an almost Broadway feeling to things. There's the time travel element, alter egos. It's just like I guess I'm trying to find out, when you were a kid, I mean, what was the first portal to this world that you were going to invent for yourself? Did you like musicals? I mean, what made you sort of find a doorway into this alternate universe?
I did. I love musicals. I mean, I love, because I am from Kansas. I did watch The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Julie Garland was such a cinema hero to me because
Yeah.
she sang and she acted. I also used to read a lot of books. I used to read the Goosebumps series,
Mm-hmm.
and photosynthesis inspired a lot of my writing.
Photosynthesis?
Yes, the concept of plants
Yeah,
and
that feed on the sun.
that, yes, feed on the sun. And I remember writing early on a short story around plants and aliens working together to snatch humans. Like the plants would be spying on in the living rooms, or if they were in the living rooms or kitchens or bedrooms, they would spy on
Yeah.
human life, and they
Yeah.
would be in connection with the aliens. And then they took everybody except for me for some odd reason, because I should have been the first to want to go, because I love artificial intelligence and I love the concept of the unknown and aliens and all of that. And so I think it was just my love of the unknown, watching Alfred Hitchcock with my grandmother when she used to babysit me. We used to watch The Twilight Zone a lot. I was always in love with science fiction, and I dreamt of a world, of my world, consisting of being able to explore those themes in science fiction and be able to sing and write original music. And that was just something that I loved doing, at an early age.
Right. So it was just a fun thing.
Yeah. It
It kind
always
of
starts
freed.
fun until the business
That's right.
side of it comes.
Yeah.
Everything is fun. Everything is so beautiful and free, and until, you start getting non-creatives involved.
Well, like it seems to me that like science fiction would provide, like, because I'm not a science fiction guy, but I'm definitely a music guy. But like the people that I know that enjoy science fiction, it's a very sort of, it's a very kind of elaborate escape. That there's all these different avenues that you can take to sort of build these, to be part of these other worlds with possibilities, and a lot of them are pretty hopeful, really.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think what I'm attracted to is possibility and what can be. Afrofuturism is goes hand in hand with sci-fi, but it's seen through the Black lens. And for me,
Would that be like Afrofuturism? Would that be like Sun Ra, George Clinton,
Yeah.
Funkadelic? Yeah.
And all of that music is like, you go outside of what people see you as.
Yeah.
Create the world that you want people to see you in. You create the characters
Yeah.
that you want people to associate you with. You create the world that you thrive in, and that's really what my motivation has been.
And there's a lot of good, like the Funkadelic. There's a lot of good comedy in some of that too.
It is. I mean, I think humor is a good way to deal with pain and trauma, and most times that's what we use as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, for sure. Now, can you tell me, like, when you started to conceive of the first couple records, like what was the sort of the basis of the kind of Metropolis concept?
Fritz Lang's Metropolis.
Sure.
Inspired, of that particular project, and it was the haves, because there's a constant battle between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
The working class, and the rich, privileged. And there was a quote in there that said, the mediator between the hands and the mind is the heart. And I said, that's what I want to represent.
The heart.
I want to represent the heart. I want my music to represent the heart. I want my music to represent that bridge that brings people together. I want what I represent to be a magnet for those who are seeking self-acceptance, for those who are seeking community, for those who are choosing their freedom over their fears. And
choosing like their own, the freedom of pursuing their own identity, whatever that may be.
Sure, absolutely. If it's rooted in love, if it's rooted in evolution and teaching of what it means to exist, if it's rooted in those things,
yeah,
then I'm always going to be an advocate for it.
So that whole concept, like, because it's hard for me to put it all together, but the Metropolis concept sort of moves through what, 2 or 3 albums that you did?
Yeah, I started off wanting to do suites, which are kind of like EPs, like maybe 5 or 6 songs. And I did. I released that as a 5 or 6 song. And then I did the Arcandroid, which was a double suite, suites 2 and 3. And I forget which suite I'm on now, but we're going to continue it. It just depends on where my spirit is. We have other, exciting things with those projects because people are now looking at them as like, oh wow, this could be a film or this could be, a graphic novel. And so we're exploring those avenues now.
So you have other people that are creative minds that are sort of like, why not build this out? Let's make a character. Let's have a movie.
Well, that was always the intention. I mean, if you come to my shows, that
You can
performance
tell. Yeah.
that it's not about just releasing, a compilation of music or just songs. No,
Right.
these are worlds. This is world building. And a lot of our heroes from David Bowie, who
Sure.
was do Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, which was like one of my favorite albums from him. And he was also able to act, and he was just an idea, that was always constantly trying to realize itself and to speak. And that's what has encouraged me. People have come before me and they've done concept albums and they've created worlds, and when you go see them live and when you listen to it, you're just like, oh, this is bigger than just an album. This is a world, and like them, I want to continue to create that.
It's interesting though, because like I haven't seen you live in concert, and I've watched some of the videos. But even though that you choose these performances and these worlds and these concepts, you're a type of performer that there's something raw that always seems to come through. I always seem to feel like there's a real human in there and a real humanity to it. Like even when just watching the way you took over the Oscars that night, there was such a presence to it all that the sort of rawness of it, whatever you were doing in that moment, made the entire undertaking look ridiculous to me. Like your presence made the Oscars look small.
Oh my goodness. Don't say that. Don't say that, because you'll have some people upset with you about that one.
But you know what I'm saying? That somehow or another, even though you create these like the alter egos and whatnot, there's something about what you're talking about, that sort of love or that authenticity that you managed to come through. And I don't know that I always saw that with Bowie. You know what I mean? I thought when Bowie got lost in a thing, he was lost in a thing to the point where, at the end of it all, you don't really get a sense that you knew who that guy was at all. And that's part of his beautiful mystique. But I feel like, you seem to shine through. You don't seem to be hiding, really. Are you?
Thank you. I mean, I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think that we go through trauma. We go through unpacking that trauma as kids.
Like what? Like what was your particular thing that you had to unpack?
Well, my dad was in and out of prison, for instance.
Yeah.
And he's not in prison anymore. He was also a victim of the system. I mean, he had a drug addiction problem.
Yeah.
But instead of getting him rehab, they put him in jail.
Right.
And that's just something that we have to talk about. We have to talk about mass incarceration. We have to talk about mental health.
Sure.
And my dad wrote a book, and he is, sober now. He's amazing. We're best friends. But growing up, he was in and out of my life. And so there would be moments where I would think he was coming to pick me up, and he just wouldn't show up. It wasn't because he didn't love me, but back then that's what I thought.
Right, of course.
I didn't realize that his addiction was his sickness was making him absent from my life. And so that spilled over into different moments of my life. Like I remember I used to put on parties. I would throw parties with my friends in high school, and we would just make money doing that.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that my abandonment issues were so bad that I thought that nobody was going to come to the party. So I would hide in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come out until they were like, okay, more people are here, because the feeling of people abandoning me was just so hurtful. You never wanted that pain. And I think it has also spilled over, and I didn't realize this until really like a few years ago, that it was spilling over into me as an artist. Like, let's just say, if there were certain things that I want to talk about in my music, I won't name them now, but if I wanted to talk about them, I'd be like, man, if I say this, what if people don't love me anymore?
Yeah, yeah.
What if they leave? What if they go away? And up until, me really being extra vocal about being queer, I would always talk about it in my music, but I never wanted to talk about it in interviews because I had to have certain conversations with people that I knew loved me, but
Yeah.
also were homophobic.
Mm.
And
Like friends and
were
family?
friends and family.
Yeah.
I knew they loved me, but to look at me in that way, I was like, man, they might not love me the same. And so I had to really have these deep conversations before I put out Dirty Computer, before I really started to be more vocal about my sexuality, because I had this fear of abandonment. So I know that I wasn't alone in that, and that's what pushed me to go even harder
Right.
in who I was, because I was like, there are a lot of other, Baptist raised people in small towns and communities who are fearful, and there are also people who can't talk about who they are because they could be ostracized or financially cut off or killed. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so we're still dealing with these things, and I know firsthand what it feels like to to be misunderstood, or to have that fear of, if I wake up tomorrow after saying this, is everything gone?
Were you able to, so when you started to have this struggle within yourself, were you able to sort of facilitate those conversations with your family and your friends before you sort of became more public about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how did they go generally?
I mean, my mom and like people really close to me, knew, and
Right.
and they were fine. But I still had to have conversations with them, because when you come in, because it's coming in to me, I'm not coming out. I don't believe in the concept of coming out. I believe in, coming in. It's
which
not.
means being included as opposed to what, how do you differentiate coming out and coming in?
Well, coming in for Black and brown people is like, you know, we're inviting you in.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you into my space.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to come into your world and fit in.
Right. Got it.
And I felt like, and I still feel like, you constantly have to teach people,
Yeah.
about what it means for them to come in to who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are some people who, in my family that, they disapprove of me loving myself and embracing everything about myself. And I just tell them, if you don't, and this always gets them. If
Yeah.
you don't, want to, love me for being queer or accept me for being queer, then don't take my gay queer money. Don't ask me for no money. How about that? And then they're like, oh, okay, well, now we get it.
Yeah. We like queer money.
Right. Because, listen, when people think that you are, just because you're close to somebody who has a lot of money, you now have a lot of money. They always think art. They feel like artists know, like, that there's going to be that moment where people start thinking that they are just super, 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 super rich. And
Sure, of course, because they're
they don't
related to
understand
you.
business.
So,
Yeah.
like, do you think, like, then, well, that's sort of interesting, that fear of abandonment that runs so deep in emotional negligence with parents.
Mm-hmm.
That, do you think that some of the drive of your creativity was then to, in sort of an attempt at sort of self-parenting, you
Mm-hmm.
created these other worlds and these other places where you could be safe?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of my art was born out of protection.
And so, like, the escapism of science fiction and musicals and anything that looked fantastic was probably such a relief for your heart, to be involved in that. And in fact, and before you understood the feelings maybe about your queerness or whatever else was going on, you could embrace your otherness because you had this special world, because science fiction is its own special thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think you're right. And in my world, androids represented Black people. Androids represented members of the LGBTQIA plus communities, the untouchables,
Uh-huh.
represented anybody who went against the status quo and were in marginalized groups, and their voices were silenced. So that's what I use the Android as a parallel
Yeah.
for.
Well, it makes sense. But also, like, it's interesting that you can have these suites and these concepts that you embrace and these different textures musically, but you can also, kick out a pretty solid hit when you want to.
Yeah, I always look at when people say hits and charts and things like that. For me,
Yeah.
it's always like a hit is when it hits home first,
Right.
meaning when
With
it's
you.
honest to who I am and where I am at that time,
Yeah.
and also people can relate to it.
Yeah.
A large amount of people are relating to it. Then that's beautiful.
Yeah, and nobody sounds like you. No one's doing the type of musical integration that you're doing. Like, because when I was listening to some of it the other day, it was kind of interesting to me because I couldn't really fit it into I couldn't tell you what type of music it was necessarily. It was just your shit,
Yeah. 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 I mean, obviously, there's nothing new under the sun. But
Yeah,
I think how
but
we,
how you
how,
combine it.
yes, how you combine it, the elements that you use, the way you say something, makes it all yours.
So when did do you because I was thinking about David Bowie and some of the stuff that you do. Did you come to acting pretty naturally? I mean, where did that come from?
I think embodying certain characters in me made me feel comfortable,
Which ones? Which characters?
I have lots of them.
Really? Just to get through life?
Yes. I think we all have them. I think we all are, depending on the day.
We don't all name them, but we have them.
Exactly. And we have them. And,
Yeah.
and they're coming out. Certain people trigger those characters. And,
Right.
I just think we have them. But growing up, being in musicals, being an international thespian where I would go and monologue competitions.
You
drive
did?
2 hours away.
How old were you when you were doing that?
This was all through high school.
So you were doing theater in high school?
Oh, yes, high school. And then prior to that, I had I was in talent showcases. Then I did a cappella choir, and then I would do after school Shakespearean programs. And I was a writer also for the Young Playwrights Roundtable at the Coterie Theater in Kansas City, Missouri.
What kind of was that? A small theater, community theater kind of thing, or?
Yeah, so they would let like 12 students write these short stories.
Oh, wow.
And if your short stories were good enough, then the local actors would perform them. And people
Wow.
And so I grew up singing and acting pretty much all my life,
Do you remember what your first stories were?
You know what? I don't. I need to. I think because I got kicked out of the program because my mom and I were sharing. I was sharing a car with my mom.
Yeah.
And my mother, was an essential worker, and she would sometimes have to stay late to clean. And so,
Right.
if she was late picking me up from school, that meant I was late getting to the after school program.
Oh.
And so I was late too many times, and they kicked me out.
Oh.
So I think I just pushed that part of my life outside of my.
Oh, really?
My spirit in my body. It was traumatizing because I loved that program. And my heart was broken.
Oh, that's too bad. And so you focus more on the music after that?
No, I went on to performing arts school in New York. I went to the American Musical and Dramatics Academy, fresh out of high school. And I went there and I studied musical theater. I studied acting. I studied sight singing, all of the things because I wanted to do musical theater. But then I said, I think it's cooler and it's better to do it on my own terms so that I'm not sounding like everybody.
Yeah.
I love these techniques and learning how to use my voice. So I took from it what I needed to apply on my albums and in my life, but I did not want to sound like everybody. And I didn't like the roles that were offered on Broadway.
So that it was good that you knew that early on and that you were at least. So how did then once you knew that, and once you knew you wanted to go into being a recording artist, how does that start?
I moved to Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yep. I wanted to be around other Black creatives.
Yeah.
to be around other Black musicians, actors, like, and then my best friend was going to school at Clark Atlanta University. And I ended up moving to that college campus where Morehouse and Spelman and Clark exist. And I started meeting other artists, other Black creatives who were searching, who, you know, were coming from different walks of life and had something they wanted to say, you know.
Great.
And I started being a part of an arts collective. We formed this arts collective called Wonderland. And in Wonderland, you know, you have actors, you have musicians, you have screenwriters, you have poets, you have so many different types of visual artists. And we just were like, we want to create a different blueprint. You know, we want to start an arts collective that, you know, does these art stunts through music, through visual art. And we want people to look to us in the same way that we look to Paisley Park. Yeah. We were excited about this new era, you know, of artists coming together.
And you did it.
We are doing it still, you know.
Some of the original people from Atlanta are still with you?
Yes, absolutely.
And like, so when you started it, you had people from all different realms, from music, from visual arts, from like what else? Dance, everything?
Dance, everything. Yeah. Public speakers. Yeah.
Actors.
Everything you can think of.
And then how did that evolve? Because that's your label now, isn't it?
Yeah. So the Art Society is like the tree, like the big macro idea. And then we have Wonderland Records. Mm-hmm. We also have Wonderland Pictures. So I have a production company where we are producing films and television shows.
Do you like acting?
Do I like it?
Yeah.
I love acting.
Yeah.
I love taking on characters that are different from myself and also that are in me that I'm ready to get out. You know?
Right. Yeah,
I love being a part of films like Moonlight and Hidden Figures that honor people in our communities. Yeah. Voices we hadn't seen amplified on screen before. Yeah. History that teaches the rest of America about, you know, who we are as a people. Yeah. Reminding folks that we're not monolithic, that we, from NASA to the ghettos to, you know, arts collectives to the strip clubs, we are multifaceted, we are brilliant, and there's so much nuance in us, and that's what I like doing. I like bringing those characters to screen.
It's great. And what's Antebellum about?
Antebellum is a psychological thriller. I filmed that in New Orleans, and I play an author, Veronica Henley. And I don't want to spoil things, but you know, I think that this film is right on time.
Oh, good.
In terms of where we are politically, in terms of where we are when we're dealing with race. But it's it's a psychological mind bender. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I watched your season of Homecoming. I watched all of it.
Thank you.
That's a very frightening possibility, that particular problem of all of a sudden not knowing who you are, or what you've done, or that. I thought you handled that very well. Were you able to sort of really feel what that would feel like?
Yes. I had to do a lot of research. I had to imagine and envision myself.
What kind of research?
Watching movies.
Yeah.
You know, I watched some of my favorite films like Memento, where he's dealing with memory loss. I watched the Bourne Identity films. I watched this film from Nicole Kidman called Before I Go to Sleep, where she wakes up every morning and doesn't know who she is or who her husband is. And then also doing research on short-term, long-term memory loss, amnesia, all of that, because, you know, it does happen. And I didn't want to play the character one note. I didn't want her to be like disoriented the entire show, the entire season. Right. Because what I'm finding is when you can't remember something, it's frustrating for you. Yeah. You know, the person. You're mad at yourself and trying to hide that frustration and also get answers from people that you don't know if you can trust because you don't know who did this to you.
Right.
And my character wakes up in the middle of a boat. She has no idea who she is or what happened to her, and she's going on, this hunt for this search for self-identity.
Yeah.
And she's frustrated, but she also has to get answers. She doesn't know who to trust. It's tough.
And there's a horrible vulnerability to that. Oh man, I couldn't even imagine, because you naturally want to protect yourself, but you have no fucking idea who to trust or what happened to your brain. And you just have to move through the world like that.
Yeah, you don't. It's frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening. I think, this show, one of the reasons I signed on was what it said about how we treat our vets. I play a vet.
Yeah.
And Walter Cruz, who's played by the incomparable Stefan James, he also is a vet, and
he's great
with trauma. And, it had a lot to say about how we treat our vets when they come from war.
Uh-huh.
What kind of resources are we putting into mental health? What type of education, are we giving to around what it means to show up for our vets when they're having PTSD episodes? This also talks about what it means to be a citizen over, a capitalist in capitalism. Mm-hmm. What it means to show up for your people and want the health and the well-being over capitalism. And it has a lot to say about corporations.
Yep.
And how lots of them, have historically, and even we're seeing now, they put capitalism over integrity, over truth.
Of course. Are you kidding me? It's like they're opening up states with the disease rampaging.
Absolutely.
Just because people they're playing off on people's we're bored, we're tired of it. We want to believe it's gone. And this is an amazing example of what we're dealing with not only the police brutality protests, but with COVID-19, that, the people have had enough of this shit. I mean, and obviously, I'm not a person of color, so I'm not speaking from that place, but just with, people like with corporate interests and the interests of capitalism, basically saying that they don't care enough about people, that if they die, as long as the system sustains. Like right now, I don't know how you feel, but in the face of all this, I have no idea what's going to happen at all anymore. Do you?
You know what? You got to think about chattel slavery.
Okay.
That was born out of capitalism.
Right.
Capitalism.
Right.
You think about where we are now with COVID-19, and COVID-19 is killing Black people disproportionately.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And Black and brown people are our essential workers. Mm-hmm. Like telling us to go back to work, telling people in my family to go back to work, in my community to go back to work, is putting them at a higher risk of contracting COVID-19 and dying from it. Our healthcare systems, because of systemic racism.
Yep.
We don't have, our healthcare is not the same as white folks and those who are privileged in this company, in this country. And all of this is connected. All of it's connected. And for me, I know that you're saying, like, I can't speak, for Black folks. No, you can't. But you can have conversations with other white people.
Yes.
You can have conversations about the why. Why are we saying Black Lives Matter as though Black people are objects?
Right.
And not humans and subjects to be studying. We are brilliant. But why are you in your living rooms, or why are you afraid, and not specifically speaking to you, but why are white people afraid to have those conversations? And my ask is that white people have these conversations, because white people are the people who can only fix this. The systemic racism, this is a conversation that white people have to have about their privilege in this country. This is a conversation that you have to have about your ancestors who started the importing of our people into this country to work and to do the labor that you
for
didn't
nothing.
want.
Right.
Nothing. Period. That why did the police start? It started from slavery, when they were catching other slaves, helping, working with slave owners.
Right.
So those conversations and that reading that needs to be that needs to be had. That's work that white people are going to have to do. And we're going to keep speaking out.
Yeah.
We're going to keep protesting. We're going to keep doing what we have been doing. We are going to continue to show up for our people. But this is not going to end unless white people really dismantle the system of white supremacy. This is not going to end until you dismantle systemic racism, dismantle everything that's happening in the police forces, and until we really defund police. Defund them and use that money to reinvest in healthcare, to reinvest in education,
reintegration into society.
Absolutely. Because see, we tried to do this in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Black people tried to pull themselves up from their bootstraps, the boots that we didn't come into this country having.
Yeah.
And that was burned down. The KKK, the police bombed and burned down what we built. And until you start pouring into our communities, it's the talk is cheap.
Well, I'll do what I can from where I am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I appreciate you talking to me. And I'm a big fan of your talent. I think you're amazing. And just please stay safe and keep doing what you do. I
appreciate you. It was a pleasure to talk to you and to be able to express how I'm feeling these days and to hear from you. And I look forward to your, to deeper allyship from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it. Thank you, Janelle. So take care.
All right.
That was the amazing Janelle Monáe. It was nice talking to her. I think you can notice. Could you notice that I was a little nervous? You can see her in the newest season of Homecoming on Amazon Prime Video. Her next film, Antebellum, comes out on August 22nd. Of course, all her records. Arcandroid, The Electric Lady, Dirty Computer. Amazing. Okay, so now let me play some guitar. How about some angry blues? Can we do that? Let's do that. Boomer lives.